If it is Monday night, it is the Wrestling Forum. So, hello, friends. It is ridiculously over Anthony Florio sitting in tonight for Derek Ferreira as he is covering Monday Night Football as the newly appointed social media ambassador. It's not going to be an every week thing. He'll be with us next week and the week after because, the decree that he made. He's going to be joining us for the Wrestling Forum only on go home shows and the night after a WWE Network event. So, he'll be with us the next 2 weeks after tonight. So he'll be back, but he will be back with us on Friday night for our Strictly Sports College Football Edition on Friday night as we get ready for Week 3. We'll dive into all that at the end of our show tonight. So I'm joined tonight, of course, as always, by the Cerebral Viper Michael Fletcher and the Phenom Michael Bullock. I mean, big night tonight, guys. I mean, season premiere of Monday Night Raw from the First Mariner Arena, or as I like to call it, the Baltimore Arena in Baltimore, Maryland. So with that said, gentlemen, let's dive right in. First match of the night. It was a steel cage match. It was Chris Jericho one-on-one with Bray Wyatt. The winner of the match in 16 minutes and 58 seconds, just about 17 minutes, it was Bray Wyatt. So I'm going to start it off here like we always do. So, yeah, very good matchup here. I mean, I could go as far as to call this the fight of the night, if I'm being quite honest with you, because, I mean, this match was probably the best of their series. I mean, they had some solid matches, at Battleground where Jericho went over, and SummerSlam where Bray Wyatt went over. But it was expected that Bray Wyatt was going to ultimately come out on top here because he is one of the next big breakout stars in the WWE, and Chris Jericho's always had a knack for putting over the younger talent, and I think they did the right thing by doing so here. And I just want to make one quick observation before I throw it up to Michael Bullock, and that is this: Chris Jericho, 43 years old, and diving off the top of the steel cage like he was Jeff Hardy or RVD or Rey Mysterio or anybody of that nature, kudos to you, my man. Absolutely kudos, man. That was freaking awesome. I mean, you saw the look on his face. He was like, yeah, who the hell cares if I'm 43? I'm still going to dive off this cage like I'm freaking 30. And that's exactly what he did. I mean, wow. That dive was awesome. But he hurt his knee, as you know, and then the ending of the match, Bray Wyatt and Jericho fighting near the door. And then you saw Bray Wyatt pounding and pounding and pounding on the knee, and then Bray Wyatt just rolled right out of the cage like a boll weevil, and that was it. So, very, very good match. You know what? I'm going to pull the trigger. I'm going to say this was the fight of the night. I don't care what anybody says. This was the fight of the night for my taste. I'm going to give this between 3.25 to 3.5 stars. Well done, Bray Wyatt and Chris Jericho. Good feud, and I don't know what happens next now. So with that said, fight of the night, 3.25 to 3.5 stars. Great effort by both men. And Chris Jericho for diving off that cage, man. Throw it up, man. That was freaking awesome. 43 years old and still doing stuff like that. What? That's all there is to say about that. So, fight of the night, 3.25 to 3.5 stars. So with that said, let's throw it up to our Phenom, Michael Bullock.
Yes, hello friends, this is the Phenom, Mike Bullock, and the Vice President of the Ryan chapter of the Yes Movement here on this Monday night, here for another edition of the Wrestling Forum. Yeah, I'll go as far as to say fight of the night as well, 3.5 stars. I mean, this was a very good match here, and in my opinion, the best of their series. I mean, of course, like we said, Jericho winning the first bout at Battleground. And then, of course, Bray Wyatt getting the win at SummerSlam. I mean, what a great match here between these two. And, yeah, of course, Jericho basically standing on the top of the cage. And I'm like thinking, okay, what the heck is he going to do? And then all of a sudden, he leaps right off the top of the cage and lands right on Bray Wyatt with a cross body. I'm like, holy crap. And to do that at 43 years old, that's amazing. I gotta throw one up to Jericho on that. I mean, yeah, definitely Florio. I gotta throw one up to Jericho on that. I mean, it sort of brought back memories of the old days when it was Don Morocco and Superfly Jimmy Snuka in a steel cage, and who could ever forget that moment when Snuka basically left off the steel cage, and I think everybody in Madison Square Garden was left in awe when that happened. And I'm pretty sure everybody was in awe when this happened, and yes, they were. And unfortunately, we get a little interference, of course, by the rest of the Wyatt family. And but all in all, I mean, Bray Wyatt, of course, well, first off, like you said, Jericho basically hurts his knee, and then, of course, as both men were brawling near the door, and all of a sudden Wyatt he attacks the knee, and then he basically crawls out and basically gets the win. So, yeah, so what happens next? I don't know, guys, but I think I saw a little something with Jericho in the medical room and basically getting attacked by Randy Orton afterwards. Could we be seeing a future feud between these two? I don't know. The jury's out to lunch on that, in my opinion. But 3.5 stars, definitely a fight of the night, and a good way to kick off Monday Night Raw. So with that being said, let's get Fletcher's thoughts on the match. Fletch.
I'm sorry, guys. I muted my mic.
We can't even hear you.
You mic okay, Flex?
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, we still can't hear him.
Looks like there might be audio difficulties on Michael Fletcher's end there. Hold on.
You said hold on.
He said, yeah, I noticed now. You mentioned that in our text chat box here.
And we just lost him.
Yeah. This is not out of the ordinary. I mean, this is we're used to this with Fletch. I mean, okay, I think we have Fletch back in. Hopefully we have him this time. So, Mikey, you good now?
Can you guys hear me?
Not all that
How
well.
about now?
Maybe you need to adjust your volume a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like major hard times.
Yeah, this is something that I mean, for those of you who have been, who've been, following us, whether it is the Wrestling Forum or Strictly Sports, I mean, this is nothing new. I mean, nobody has had more, issues when it comes to connection and whatnot than Michael Fletcher has. I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, it's a damn shame, but I mean, we've all been there. I mean, Derek's been there. I've been there. Mr. Bullock, you've been there. Obviously, you know what it's like to, unfortunately, have a glitch on your end, a technical glitch or an audio glitch, and
That's something we just can't control.
Yeah, it's beyond our control indeed. So, yeah. So I mean, we've been on for well over 2.5 years, and okay, Fletch back in now. So.
All right, let's try again.
Mike.
Still nothing.
Yeah.
Something tells me this is just going to be you and me, Wario.
Yeah, it's probably looking like that. So, I mean, Derek Ferrer, obviously, being the social media ambassador for Monday Night Football, well deserved, and doing a great job with that. And
Mike, check 1 2
there you go.
3 4.
Yep, we got you.
Yeah, we got you, Fletch.
Can hear you.
Or maybe he just maybe he just wanted to formally adjust one more time. So bear with us, folks. I mean, hopefully we'll have him and we'll get his thoughts on a very good match.
We're starring in the new family comedy Black. We play the parents and kids who don't know what it's like to grow up in the struggle. I want to have a bar mitzvah, and I'll get Superman. I'm gonna go with either.
I don't know if that was.
I don't know. Oh, here we go.
Alright, let me see if this actually works. If you guys can hear me now, just,
Yeah, we can hear you,
just give me a
Fletch.
thumbs up or something.
We got you, man. We got you.
Yeah, we got you now.
I can hear you. All right. So your thoughts on Chris Jericho and Bray Wyatt in the cage?
Alright, like I said, I mean, this was a 3.5 star fight. I thought this was a good match. I don't know what the hell's going on with my connection tonight. It's really just acting up again. But I will say this: it was 3.5 stars. It was a good fight. There's really nothing else to say. So Anthony, just go.
All right, and move on we will. Hopefully, Fletcher's connection will hold up with us tonight. So, all right, we got to move on now, and we're going to move on to a promo segment. First of a few. We had the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion Dolph Ziggler in the ring, interrupted by The Miz and Damien Mizdow. Unfortunately, Michael Bullock, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to lead off on this monstrosity. So, your thoughts on this segment? And by the way, I'll save it. I don't envy you.
Yeah. And the point of this segment was what exactly? I mean, this was. Is this the way you want to build for your Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship match at Night of Champions with a promo segment like this, where he says, "Oh, I hacked into some pictures of the Miz, and I did not like this segment at all, and I'll even say it. It was pretty much pointless, unnecessary, unacceptable, inexcusable, irresponsible, and borderline reprehensible. I mean, this really just left a bad taste in my mouth. I mean, it's a good. I basically took a cat nap during the segment. I just really didn't like this at all, and oy, 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 oy. No. Anthony Florio, president of the Rhode Island chapter of the S Movement, please join me when I say this. No. I got nothing more to say on this crap fest. But please get Bruno in here and take a dump on this, because I really thought this was crap.
I would even be able to say this. This was just. It was to the point.
Looks like some more hard times for Michael Fletcher there. But anyways, I'll just take it here. I'll just take it for a spin here, unless we get Fletch back for a moment. But
Actually, I'm here.
okay.
Anthony.
Okay, Mikey. All right, your thoughts on that
I-
dreadful segment?
Well, like I said, here's the thing. I'll say this: the way that they did it, and I know what Dolph Ziggler was trying to do. Again, WWE tries to play into the pop culture. As everybody knows, in the last week or so, there was some photos or media stuff that was leaked out by media, thanks to some hackers that got into the iCloud, and they found some very racy, almost adult-like pictures of some people. They went after Victoria Justice, Jennifer Lawrence. They went after Katie Upton. There was some of Kim Kardashian. There was some of Hillary Duff. They went through the gambit. Some of them are some of them are some of the most beautiful women in the world, and I even think they even got Ariana Grande, is what I heard. A rumor was going around that Ariana got hit with this too. So this was supposed to be the most sensitive, private pictures. Some of them are, yes, of the adult nature. Some are others, and others were very, like I said, very close, very intimate photos that basically should never have seen the light of day. But whatever the case may be, WWE wants to play off that. And then what they did was they used Dolph Ziggler by saying, well, I found out there was some photos that were leaked out that was from that had A-listers, B-listers, and D-listers. And of course, you knew, okay, wink, wink, it's going to be about The Miz. But the thing is this: the photos that they did actually was somewhat tastefully because they were not of the X-rated nature, except maybe that last one. That last one was definitely not PG, and that could have gotten. I know if Derek Furr was here tonight, he probably would have thrown his "That's not PG" meme on from the meme Gene Okerlund, or I know Florio, you're probably like, thanks to kid, and it's probably going on the thing right now, and it's probably setting something up. So while you do that, and while you set that up, I'll say this: it was horrible. I didn't like it. I thought it was very. It was to the point that it was just kind of ridiculous. I don't get it. I didn't get the storyline. I didn't get this segment. I didn't like it one bit. Florio, it's yours.
You know me so well, Michael Fletcher. That's why we've been, the best of friends for the last 20 plus years. But yeah, there will be a funny meme or two, or maybe more than that from me later on, because you know me. I mean, I go meme crazy. I mean, probably more so than anybody. I mean, because I like to bring some fun to this show, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do in just a little bit. So yeah, okay, Fletch will be he's coming back in just a moment. So let me give you my thoughts on this. Yeah. Way to make the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship look valuable, WWE. Very, very. That is as horrific as it gets. I mean, yeah, right there. I'm right there with you both. I mean, and Michael Fletcher. I mean, he actually joined us in that little no fest. I mean, I love that. I mean, Cerebral Viper. I mean, you gotta love that. But yeah, it was definitely a no fest indeed. I mean, I definitely agree with that. When it comes to the segments, I mean, I gotta say, as bad as this was only the second worst segment of the night, because I thought there was one that was actually worse than this, and I think you know where I'm going with this. So, yeah, yeah, and yeah, I see Bullock there. I know. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to get into that a little bit later on, and yeah, yep, no, indeed. That's for you, Daniel Bryan, if you're watching. I mean, yeah, fat chance he's watching, but if he was, I mean, that shows you how much we're into that yes movement. But anyways, second worst segment of the night. I mean, waste of time. I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, they tried. I mean, I'll say it like this: as bad as the segment was, Dolph Ziggler's a great talker. I'll say it like this: he is very good on the mic. I'm going to give him that. I mean, he's not only a great wrestler, but he's also very good on the mic too. And Miz, I mean, they were fine on the mic, but it's just that the way they had to set this up, this was not the way to do it. I mean, I'll give them credit for, referencing a pop culture event, like what's been going on with this whole thing, these nude photos of the Jennifer Lawrences and the Victoria Justices and all these other beautiful baby girls around the world, and like Fletch mentioned, and I do have a confession. I actually stumbled, quote unquote, stumbled. I mean, this was not intentional by any means. I was on Twitter and I saw Victoria Justice was trending. I'm like, what's going on with her? And then I'm like, oh, okay, I see what it is. I see what it is. So, you know me, I'm kind of like a Shawn Michaels when it comes to this. You know how Shawn Michaels is a devout Christian? That's kind of how I am when it comes to material like that. And Fletch, you know that because you're like the Triple H. So when it comes to the D-Generation X, so oh yeah, so that's basically how it is. So yeah, horrific segment. Those photos, I mean, God forbid. I mean, especially that last one. I mean, yeah, we're gonna have nightmares about that one for many years to come. So we'll try our best to block that out of our minds. So all right, enough of that nonsense. Let's move on to our next segment here, and let me see here. Hopefully, it was something better. Well, unfortunately, it gets a little worse because now we move on to total diva silliness because we had ourselves a tag team match. It was the Divas champion Paige teaming up with her number one challenger AJ Lee, going up against the team of Natalya and Rosa Mendez. Winners of the match in 2 minutes and 34 seconds. It was Paige and AJ Lee. And unfortunately, the Cerebral Viper he's gonna have to sound off on this opener. So luck of the draw, Fletch. Luck of the draw.
Go Fletch.
All right. You know what? I'll say it like this. Yes, it was a bad fight, but the one crazy thing about this. Okay, first off, you got the interaction between AJ Lee and Paige, and this continuation of one-upsmanship between Paige and AJ. Then on the other end, you had Natalia and Rosa Mendez, and really, Rosa was trying to say, well, if you've been watching the Total Divas, if you saw the season premiere, basically the storyline goes with Rosa is that she just got back not too long ago from being away. She had some major issues outside of the WWE ring, which I think we all knew. We only knew bits and pieces of it, but we didn't know like the whole story. She went into rehab. She had a very toxic, very almost to the point I think we can even say a very dangerous relationship she had with I guess a guy back in the day that really dragged her down. Of course, then you talk about the alcohol issues. Maybe there was some drug use. We don't know the whole gambit of the story, but I mean, we did know that there was some issues with them, and so she was just getting back. She was away from the ring for almost a year, year and a half, and you know how much I love Rosa Mendez. I think Anthony Flair knows that more than anybody else. That other than Layla L, she's probably the number two girl for me in WWE. Just putting it out there. But at the end of the day, I thought it was what it was. Natalia looked really good, and once again, she proves why she's so good in the ring. She works so good either with Paige or with AJ. Natalia is a gifted athlete, a gifted wrestler, no doubt about it. And I love the body of work that she brings to the ring. It kind of felt like tonight that you had AJ as the tweener, you had Paige as the heel, and then on the other end you had Natalia maybe as a tweener or a face, and Rosa as the heel. But it kind of felt like there was no fluidity. There was nothing that would have really said, "Wow, this was amazing." Now I loved the post fight between AJ Lee and Paige. AJ gets the 1, 2, 3. She gets the win. Paige is like, "What the heck is that? What are you doing? How you stole my spotlight? How dare you?" The next thing we know, now this is where I think if Derek Ferrero was here, he probably would have fainted and his eyes would have been rolling in the back of his head, and he probably would have been, well, he probably would have taken a page out of my book, gurring like crazy, and pulling the Anthony Florio put the fist in the mouth type moment, because this is where, in that moment, Paige, basically AJ Lee, grabs the belt, looks at it, and gives it a kiss. Then Paige turns around, she basically gets the belt, and she kisses it. And you get this Fremenese thing going, and oh boy, it was definitely an interesting sight to see it post fight. But I'll say this, it just makes it much more better and brings it all together. And of course, they always play, and if you remember what the announcers were saying, what JBL, Cole, and Jerry Lawler were saying, they were kind of thinking that Stephanie McMahon put AJ and Paige together so in the fact that they would hope that they would destroy each other, that would give Nikki Bella a better opportunity of possibly winning the Divas Championship at the Night of Champions. But that's for another night and another day. But yeah, I gotta call it a dud to an NA for me. But other than that, that's it. Anthony, it's yours.
Yes, I do know about the history of Rosa Mendez there. She was in a relationship with Jackson Andrews. You remember he was that bodyguard that Tyson Kidd brought in briefly a few years back. So, and of course there was a lot of unfortunate stuff that was going on with that, but we're not going to rehash into that. But anyways, Yeah, this was an absolute dud. I mean, this was horrific. I mean, typical ho hum diva fight. I mean, it's a damn shame too because because three of those four divas in the match are all divas who can wrestle. Natalia, who I feel damn bad for, not just because I'm a Hart family mark, but also because of the fact that she's been thrown under the bus for how long now? That's ridiculousness right there. No pun intended. Um, and AJ Lee, who right now is quote unquote the face of the Diva division, because we all know how high up Vinnie Mac and the Suits are on her. No, and of course, no issues with that whatsoever. Totally deserves to be what she is. And Paige, who came out of NXT and like a boss, and doing what she's doing. So you got those three who can wrestle. I mean, Rosa Mendez, I'm sorry, she's just right. She's I hate to say it, but she's right up there with the likes of Cameron and Eva Marie. I mean, she needs work. And here's the thing. I mean, in FCW a few years back, I mean, she was awesome in FCW. I'll give her that. I mean, she held their title for quite a bit, and she was also their queen as well. And I could honestly say that about 4 or 5 years ago, she was the face of the Diva division in FCW. And because she had a big following down there. But oh boy, what's been going on with her now? I mean, it's a damn shame too. She's one of those enhancement divas. I hate to say it. So, I mean, the match was an absolute dud. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. I mean, this was horrible. And Michael Fletcher, he brought up that he said he thought I was going to do a couple of funny memes. Well, I do have some regarding that last segment. Well, I have one for now. I'm editing the second one, but I'm going to give you the first one. I mean, Michael Fletcher knew this one was coming, so Michael Fletcher wanted this one. Well, he's going to get it. Here you go. Those photos of The Miz and Damian Sandow, those weren't PG then, and they're damn sure not PG now. I mean, that's exactly what it is. I mean, yeah, I do have another one, but I'm editing it. I'm in the process of editing it. So, yeah, because I know you guys are going to love the second one I'm going to have. I mean, it revolves around that same segment, but it's a different Mimi. It's one of their newer ones, and you're gonna get a big laugh out of that one. I mean, you thought that Rusev and Lana one that I shared last week was hilarious. Well, that ain't nothing compared to what we're gonna see in just a little bit with the other funny Mimi I have for you. So, all right. So with that said, dud. It was an absolute dud. It was one of the worst fights of the night. Not the worst fight of the night, but it was one of the worst fights of the night. So with that said, Michael Bolt, let's get your thoughts on that while I edit that other funny Mimi for you guys.
Dud, 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 dud. I mean, this was your typical ho-hum diva fight, and it's a damn shame because, like you said, I mean, you have three of the four divas in this match who can wrestle. I mean, Natalia, I mean, I don't know I mean, she's a good wrestler, but for some reason she's been thrown under the bus, and that's a damn shame. And what the heck has she done? I mean, the only good match she's ever been in a long time was, of course, that match from the NXT Takeover with her against Charlotte, and that was a damn good match between those two, even though Natalia didn't win it. But I mean, come on, I mean, here's the thing that I gotta say about Natalia. I mean, to WWE, either push her and give her a chance to hold the Divas title, or if you're going to continue to have her look like this, I hate to say it, Florio, and I have to say WWE just needs to get rid of her. I mean, why bother wasting time if you're, if you want to push a good diva, I mean, Natalia's definitely one of them, and for some reason they're just not doing it, and I don't know why. I mean, it's basically. I'm basically scratching my head through this, and if I know Anthony Florio, he's probably scratching his head as well, knowing how much of a Hart fan that he is. And AJ Lee, I mean, she is the face of the Divas division right now, even though Paige right now has the Divas title. So yeah, this was a complete waste of time, and yeah, you get a dud segment, and now you got a dud match here. I mean, yeah, after the first match, I mean, it was of Raw. I mean, it basically started going down the crapshoot, if I'm going to be quite honest here. So, dud, another one of the worst, one of the worst fights of the night, I'll say. So, with that being said, Gloria, let's just move on. I don't know how you feel about Natalia with what I just said.
Well, I don't know how you feel about this other funny meme. Here you go. This is the brand new growing up Bella meme that they have on there. It was Bree's idea for Dolph Ziggler to leak those adult photos of The Miz and Danny and Sandow, but I never told anyone until now. Yeah. So there you go. That's the brand new growing up Bella, Nikki Bella confessional meme that they have on the Mimi jeans. So yeah, I had to go there with that one. So yeah. So with that said, let's move on to our next segment here. Well, this is actually where it starts to get better now. It was the advocate. It was the advocate for the Beast Incarnate. It was Paul Heyman in the ring, interrupted by John Cena. Let me just say it like this: segment of the night. This was freaking awesome. I mean, Paul Heyman. What can you say about Paul Heyman? I mean, showing you why he is the best talker in the WWE, pound for pound, bar none. But what about John Cena? I mean, you ever see Cena that intense before? I'm telling you, his promos over the last couple of months have been absolutely amazing. I mean, we've known Cena to be that over the top PG poster child, as we all know, but he was a little bit at the start. But then once Heyman started to get to him and say, well, what? Dig down deep and find that hatred, because those fans are always chanting, "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks." I mean, why don't you tell them just for once to shut up? And oh my God! And then just as it looked like he was actually going to, he then told Heyman to shut up. And then he said, "Heyman, you know what? I'm done talking. I'm here to fight." So he's like, "You got 7 days. Next week, You get your Beast Incarnate, you get your champion, you get your monster champion Brock Lesnar to come down to Monday Night Raw next week. And if he doesn't show up, if he takes another vacation day, or because he could, in reference to his part-time schedule, then I'm going to fight you." So, that's all there is to say about that. And and they made the announcement earlier, well, just before the end of the show, that Brock Lesnar will indeed be at the go-home show for Monday Night Raw next Monday night. Should be a very interesting show. Oh boy, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. So, I mean, when it comes to the matches on the Night of Champions card, this has been getting the best build, if I'm being quite honest. I mean, the other matches have been getting okay build, but not really over-the-top build. But this one has been getting far and away the best build. And I am hopeful that this ends up being the fight of the night, and I'm hopeful that it ends up being better than the SummerSlam match. I mean, even though it was good for what it was, I am hopeful that this one will be, that fight of the night, and definitely a possible contender for the match of the year. Even though I have a feeling it probably won't be the match of the year. But well done, Paul Heyman. Well done, John Cena. I mean, that was a masterclass. That was a promo masterclass right there, bar none. So that was awesome. Crowd was eating out of their hands. I mean, Heyman, best PR talker in WWE today. John Cena's been getting so much better, and it's almost like every week, week after week after week with Cena's promos, he's been actually doing better. He actually betters his promos week after week. And I got to say that tonight, this one was probably his personal best. And it looks like, and then I know everybody's saying, "Oh, turn heel, turn heel." I mean, nobody wants to see that more than all of us. I mean, that would be awesome if he ever turned heel. And how about Paul Heyman, going back to the days when John Cena was, the doctor of thugonomics, the rapping Cena, and that little rap that he did, and in reference and calling out, the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, oh my goodness, I mean, that was awesome. I mean, Fletch, I mean, we were on the phone, we were talking about this. I mean, we ate this segment up. We loved this segment. This was a segment that we had a lot of fun doing. We had a lot of fun doing. And, oh my gosh, I mean. And I'm going to say it right now, this is definitely one of my segments of the year, no question about that. It's definitely going in. I know we don't do a segment of the year ranking, but if we did, this would definitely be in there. No question about it. Is it the segment of the year? No. I still feel it's the Occupy Raw. I know a lot of people are saying get off that, but no. The body of work of that segment, that's why. But this here, definitely a segment of the year. It's segment of the year worthy. Definitely one of the best. Well done to both Paul Heyman and John Cena. My excitement level for their rematch has just gone sky high. That's all there is to say about it. I cannot wait until September 21st Will it be worth the $9.99 a month? Oh, hell yeah, it will be. So, segment of the night, far and away. Well done to both Heyman and Cena. Personal best out of both men. I don't know what else there is to say except Michael Bullock. How are you going to follow that?
Without a doubt, this was indeed the segment of the night. No doubt about it. I mean, both John Cena and Paul Heyman played their parts very well, and yeah, I mean, with the way Paul Heyman was towards John Cena, I mean, yeah, Cena was basically starting off as a little bit of that PG nonsense that we don't like, but then when basically toying with Cena, saying, "Oh," with the crowd saying, "Let's go, Cena, Cena sucks," and basically telling Cena, "Why don't you just tell him to shut up?" And that, I think that basically lit a fire in John Cena, saying, "You know what, Paul Heyman? Why don't you shut up?" And if I know, if there are some Paul Heyman haters out there, you know they probably love that. So, and of course, Fletch, of course, he's a Paul Heyman guy, and you know how he likes when Paul Heyman basically tries to get under the skin of some superstars. So, yeah, and basically saying, "Oh, John Cena better be here next week." And you know what? If he doesn't come next week, you know what? I'll just fight you, Paul Heyman. So, yeah, I mean, this was well done. And is this the segment of the year? No, I still think that. And come to think of it, I'm gonna, as far as my segment of the year, and I know I like that Occupy Raw thing, but I gotta go with the promo that Paul Heyman did with Brock Lesnar the night after SummerSlam, because I mean, just watching it again, I mean, I thought Paul Heyman basically hit it out of the ballpark. So to me, my segment of the year is that the one with Heyman and Lesnar for the night after SummerSlam, when he was presented with the new WWE World Heavyweight Championship belt. So yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to this rematch, and hopefully it's better than the match at SummerSlam, even though it was still good, no doubt about it. But, I mean, you never know. They can certainly do a lot better with it. So, and it could definitely be worth that $9.99. Of course, talking about the WWE Network. So, yeah. So, segment of the night, without a doubt, Fletcher, it's yours.
I totally agree. Segment of the night. This was absolutely incredible. I cannot believe how awesome this was. I was so thrilled with the way that this body of work came out. Once again, Paul Heyman showing why he is one of the greatest speakers of our time. I mean, we can always talk about certain guys having a knack for greatness. Paul Heyman, it just, whenever he's on the mic, he's money on the mic. And once again, he proves it again tonight. And just trying to poke at John Cena, playing that gimmick of, you know what, Cena, here's how you beat Brock Lesnar. You need to be psycho. You need to get dirty. You need to, because your little, I'm going to play to the kiddies, I'm going to play to the Cena Nation and all this stuff, that's not what's going to get you far. You try to play your Cena Nation bit at SummerSlam, and what happened? You got destroyed. You need to get a backbone. You need to say, you know what? Forget all these people. Forget about all this stuff. Sometimes you need to get greedy. You need to be a selfish son of a you know what to be the best and the best. Look at Randy Orton. Look at Triple H. Look at The Rock. Look at Stone Cold Steve Austin. What did they all have in common? At one time, they did not give a damn what the fans thought. They did not give a damn about anybody except themselves. They were selfish, they were thug-like, they were egotistical, and they had the heart and the guts and the backbone to say, you know what? Screw you guys. I'm going to take this to the top and I'm going to do this my own way. But John Cena, once again, he's like, he gets real serious with Heyman, and he's like, you know what? I'm not gonna trade or I'm not gonna betray who I am as a person. I've always believed in hustle, loyalty, and respect. He's been true to himself for good or for bad. For all the times he's been cheered, to all the times he's been booed. He's always been consistent. Right down the middle, he'll never waver one way or another. And you know what? And I'll give you this as much as and you know the IWC pans John Cena every chance they get. You know, even tonight, even though that crowd in Baltimore was for the most part dead as a freaking doornail, they kind of was trying to egg Cena, and you had that tradition. You had the Let's Go Cena chance, and you had the Cena sucks. And the thing is that Cena has been dealing with this since 2000. He's been dealing with this since he first burst on the scene when he arrived right around WrestleMania 19. And then that's where the maturation began. Now, when did all this Cena sucks start coming? Right around WrestleMania 21. Right around that time was really when you started hearing, you know, it started coming out a little bit, not a lot. You heard a little bit. 22, WrestleMania 22, when they were in Chicago, it was evident at that point. You knew there was a house divided. And they've been doing that since then. So, where does that leave us? Well, you gotta deal with what you gotta deal with. You gotta do what you gotta do, and you try to make the most out of situations in life. So John Cena has always been that guy. He's always been as consistent as he can be. No matter if you love him or you hate him, you gotta respect him. Anthony, it's yours.
All right. Yes, indeed. I mean, what a segment it was. I mean, certainly one we're gonna be talking about for a while. So, well, things actually kept getting better. That was good. We ended up getting, another good match. It was the United States Heavyweight Champion Sheamus going one-on-one with Seth Rollins. Winner of the match in 9 minutes and 53 seconds. It was Seth Rollins. And with that said, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this match?
I'm giving this 2.5 stars, in my opinion. I mean, I thought this was a good match for what it was worth during that time. I mean, I would have given it 3 stars, but of course, I mean, sorry. No, I have to take it back. I mean, like I said, it was 2.5 stars. I mean, it was good for what it was worth. I mean, yes. I mean, we do have Cesaro basically get a little interference here, and of course, he basically ends up obsessed with the belt, and basically we're like, uh-oh, we got ourselves a little distracted here, and basically, I mean, Sheamus grabs the belt, and I mean, we basically have ourselves a good old tug of war when it comes to that fighting for that belt. And then after the distraction, I mean, Rollins, of course, hits the drop kick on Sheamus, and then gets the curb stop. 1, 2, 3. Big win here for Rollins over the United States Heavyweight Champion. And then afterwards, Cesaro basically, well, he takes off his shirt and hits the neutralizer on Sheamus. So we already know it's going to be Sheamus and Cesaro for the United States Championship. And yeah, very interested to see how that goes. I mean, I really want to say Cesaro is going to win this, but somehow I get this strange feeling that I think Sheamus is going to hold on to the title. No doubt about it. So, yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts. 2.5 stars. Like yours.
Yeah, I agree for the most part. At least 2.5 stars is my rating as well. It was okay. I mean, it was really nothing amazing that would have really made me jump out of my chair. It was good. It was solid for what it was worth. The body of work could be a little better, but I liked it. But I definitely like the fact that they're really playing into the angle for Cesaro and for that they're really playing the angle with Cesaro and Sheamus, and they're making a little bit of some emphasis for the United States Championship fight. And then of course Cesaro gets the one up on Sheamus, hitting him with the neutralizer. So we'll see what happens, but I thought it was okay for what it was worth. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, 2 to 2.5 stars is the correct rating for this match. It was a solid match. I could probably say it was the third best fight of the night. I mean, two talented workers, have putting on a solid match here. I'm not at all surprised Rollins went over here. I mean, I kind of had a feeling he was going to, and I was kind of surprised that it was Cesaro who provided the distraction. Where I honestly thought it was going to be, some more authority hijinks, and you know how I am about that, especially, well, not just me, but Michael Bullock as well, because the two of us, I mean, we're sick of all that authority, all those authority shenanigans. But thankfully, that wasn't the case with this matchup here. But it was Cesaro who, guided Rollins to victory in this one. So yeah, 2 to 2.5 stars. Sheamus and Cesaro at Night of Champions should be one hell of a match. It'll definitely be a Michael Fletcher be a man fight. There's no question about that. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm thinking 3 to 3.5 stars. I hope. Yep, I agree with you right there, Bullock. I mean, that's all there is to it. So, all right. With that said, moving on. There was a moment on the stage with Lana and Rusev. Another promo from them, and they talked about, and they actually played the Russian national anthem. I mean, honestly, what I would have liked, what I would have loved for them to have done is this would have been an awesome moment. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm not sure if we should really get into this because I don't know. I mean, if you want, we can, but I don't know. I mean, I really don't know if we should get into this. I mean, because it was on the stage, and it was really, not much to speak of, except it was a typical Lana promo. But then they played the Russian national anthem. I mean, the only thing that would have made that even better is if you brought in the great Nikolai Volkov to do that. Can you imagine the pop that would have gotten if Nikolai Volkov had been there? Oh my goodness, if he had done that, that would have brought back a lot of memories. And then have the Iron Sheik come in and do his little shtick with the USA. Oh my goodness, the heat that would have generated. But I mean, I don't know if you guys want to get into that. I mean, I just wanted to bring that up. I mean, if you want to get into it, we can. But if not, then just give me the go ahead and we'll move on. So
Yeah, just go ahead.
Okay, move on then. Okay, all right. Yeah, because that was really nothing to speak of anyway. So all right. So with that said, we'll pick it up right where we'll do the rotation as how we would normally do it. So all right. So with that said, next up. We got a treat here, folks. We had ourselves an NXT tag team match. Yes, you heard me right. An NXT tag team match. And I know Michael Fletcher is going to be very happy about this one. It was the NXT champion, Adrian Neville, teaming up with Sami Zayn, going up against Tyler Breeze and Tyson Kidd. Winners of the match, the NXT champion, Adrian Neville, and Sami Zayn. And Michael Fletcher, well, you are our NXT insider, so with that said, and the rotation actually fits in perfectly because it's your turn to lead off anyway. So I think it's only fitting. So
This is actually a glass ceiling breaking moment, and I'm so happy WWE has finally seen the light and has pushed these guys to at least have a showcase fight because I think this was one of those cool moments to see, in NXT. And the fight was okay. I'll give it that. I think this was about 2.25 stars was the thing. But, everybody's been saying, when is Sami Zayn going to be in WWE? When is Adrian Neville going to be in the WWE? Because these are the two best guys that really deserves the opportunity to be there. Now, Tyson Kidd has really launched himself into a really good heel in NXT and everything else. And Tyler Breeze, I know a lot of you guys have not seen him. This guy is a really good up and coming talent as well. So to see literally the future getting a taste of the WWE spotlight here in Baltimore tonight, I think this was absolutely awesome. I loved it. For me, and I know Derek will back me up on this as well, this was a glass breaking moment. And the thing is that I love the fact that they gave him a good amount of time. It wasn't overly great, but like I said, there's always things they gotta work on and everything else. But 2.25 stars, I thought this was perfect. I enjoyed it. I loved it. Anthony, is yours.
Yeah, this was a treat for me because honestly, I don't really watch the NXT that much, but I know I probably should. But wow, this was impressive. I mean, it was a little too short for my liking. I would have liked to have seen a little more, but there's a reason that they promoted this match because these four are going to be the main event of the upcoming NXT Takeover 2 show that's going to air on Thursday night on the WWE Network for $9.99 a month. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's going to be one hell of a match. I mean, Adrian Neville versus Sami Zayn versus Tyler Breeze versus Tyson Kidd, fatal four-way match for the NXT Heavyweight Championship. So that ought to be very interesting to see how that turns out. But yeah, solid matchup here. I'll say fourth best match of the night based on the body of work. 2.25 stars. I mean, glad to see these young men getting showcased, and I wish they would do it more often. To be quite honest. I mean, not just with the men, but also with the divas as well. Because there's a certain number of NXT divas that I want to see on the main roster. Mainly Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha Banks, um, Becky Lynch, and a young lady in NXT who I have had my eye on because I think she is absolutely amazing, Alexa Bliss. I mean, I cannot wait to see that baby girl in the WWE within the next year or so, or whenever they're ready to call her up to the main roster, which I know eventually she will. So if you haven't seen Alexa Bliss, oh my goodness, she is amazing. That's all I can say about that. That's just a personal, thing for me. So, anyways, as far as this match is concerned, it's 2.25 stars. I mean, you're looking at the four top guys in NXT today. I mean, Adrian Neville, you know, reigning champion. What a champion he's been. I mean, you know, Seth Rollins was the first champion, and then it was Biggie Langston, and then of course after that it was Bo Dallas, and it was Adrian Neville who ended Bo Dallas's run. I mean, Bo Dallas had a very lengthy run with that championship, and Adrian Neville's had a run just as long. And that's going to be a tough one to call. I mean, that's going to be an interesting match. We'll see how that plays out on Thursday night. Tyson Kidd. I mean, it's not his first time in the WWE. I mean, he's been in the WWE for years. Part of the Hart Dynasty. With David Hart Smith and Natalia. They were tag team champions way back when, and had a solid career. And then he just, unfortunately, he became a Dirt Enhancement talent. But kudos to him for sending him down to NXT and actually making him somebody down there. Making him, one of the top guys down there. And from a personal standpoint, I would love to see him win that match and become the NXT Heavyweight Champion. That would be a great story in itself. And Sami Zayn, now that's the one who's formerly El Generico, right, Mikey? I mean, yeah. I mean, I know you know about him more than anybody. You and Derek, because you guys are ROH marks, I know, and I know he was a big deal down there, and yeah, I can see why. And Tyler Breeze, well, I don't like the gimmick, to be honest with you, but he can back it up. That's all I can say about that. So solid effort from all four men. 2.25 stars, fourth best fight of the night. So with that said, Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a treat here. I mean, you get four guys competing in the NXT Takeover 2 main event on Monday Night Raw. I mean, that was truly a glass-shattering moment. I mean, to see, I mean, you can only imagine what those four must have been like, knowing that they were performing on the big stage of Monday Night Raw tonight, and of course, basically to show off the big fatal four-way for the NXT Championship on the NXT Takeover 2 this Thursday live on the WWE Network. So, and I've even watched it a little bit, and yeah, Adrian Neville's been one heck of a fighting champion, and I like what I've seen from Sami Zayn, and of course, like you said, Tyson Kidd is on his first go-around with WWE, and yeah, and I understand people are not in love with the Tyler Breeze gimmick, but you know what? The guy can wrestle. That's the thing that really counts for me. So, yeah, I mean, I thought this was a good match, but just a little too short for my liking, and I'll say 2 to 2.25 stars as well. So, yeah, so there's really nothing else to say except let's just move on.
This is one of those times where I wish we didn't have to move on, but we're going to have to. Because coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, cover your eyes and ears because this was, the most dreaded, overhyped, overrated segment in the history of Monday Night Raw. Here it is. Jerry Springer and the Bella Twins in the ring. It started with Stephanie McMahon.
Jerry.
And that's the only good thing about that, Bullock. I mean, that's the only good thing about that. You're right. I mean, I love Jerry Springer's body work, especially when he was hosting that GSN show Baggage. I mean, I loved him on that. He was a riot on that. But anyways, it was Jerry Springer and the Bella Twins, the intervention. Stephanie McMahon came out, set it all up, and unfortunately, I'm the poor soul who has to lead off on this one. I mean,
I don't envy you, Florio.
Oh, damn you, Derek. But anyways, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, social media ambassador for Monday Night Football. I mean, that's a good reason. So, but anyways, oh Lord, where do I start? I mean, I mentioned in our group text chat box that I took a cat nap during another segment. This was that segment because I had no interest in this whatsoever. Why? Overhyped, overrated, and you know how I am when it comes to things who are overhyped and overrated. Johnny Manziel. Sorry, had to let that out. But anyways, yeah. I mean, good grief. I mean, it wasn't Jerry Springer at all. I mean, like I said, I love his body of work. I mean, I loved him on the Baggage show on GSN. If you haven't watched that, check those out. They have reruns of that during the late nights. But, oy. But I'll say it like this. Brie Bella was a little better here tonight. I'll give her that. I mean, she improved a little bit, but I'm still not sold. Nikki Bella was, the typical. I mean, I'm loving her new heel character. I'm loving that. You guys know about that. I mean, especially the last couple of weeks. But then this is where it starts to get overhyped and overrated. They play vignettes from their parents, and then think it couldn't get any worse. They bring out the brother. They bring out JJ. He comes out. You've seen him on Total Divas. You've seen him. You've seen the parents on there too. But oy Marone, I mean, horrific. I mean, absolutely horrific. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of the review sites, and a lot of people here in the IWC are crapping all over this segment, and I can understand why. I mean, when this segment when we first got word of the segment, on the dirt sheets and whatnot, I remember reading ProWrestling.net, our good friend Jason Powell. He said, and I quote, "Make it stop," and that's exactly right. I mean, I don't blame you one bit, Jason Powell. I mean, I'm right there with you, brother. I mean, make it, or as I like to personally say, stop the pain, please. I mean, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love Nikki Bella's heel character. I do love that. I thought Brie was a little better, but was this really necessary? You wasted all this time on a stupid-ass segment when you could have given this time to the NXT Tag Team match. Make that feel special. Make us, give us a reason to pay $9.99 a month to watch the NXT show on the WWE Network. I mean, personally, I would have taken some of that time and given it to that match, and of course, I would have taken a little more time and maybe given a little more time to the Sheamus and Seth Rollins fight. Like I kind of wanted to see more with that. And hell, maybe sprinkle some more of that, and then sprinkle the remnants of that time on to the main event, which we'll get into later. But all in all, a waste of time, horrific segment, the worst segment of the night, and I'll go as far as to say the worst segment of the year. Pointless, unnecessary, unacceptable, inexcusable, reprehensible, borderline irresponsible. If the writers came to me and pitched this idea to me, I would have said it like this. It's nothing personal against Jerry Springer. I love his body of work. But no. If I was running things, do you think this feud would be going on right now? Nope. Absolutely not. You're taking away from the best damn Diva feud in a long time with Paige and AJ Lee. And you add Nikki Bella to this match, and you heard it here first. Nikki Bella's walking out of that thing with the Divas title. You heard it here first. That's all I'm saying about that right now. So I pretty much had my say on it. Worst segment of the night, worst segment of the year, beyond pointless and unnecessary. I mean, Jerry Springer, I love you, but no. I feel bad for you, man. That was horrible. Overhyped, overrated. So, in the immortal words of Ren and Stimpy, you idiots for whoever booked that. Because if you had given me that script, I would have wiped my ass with it. Michael Bullock, go.
Yeah. Absolutely horrible, absolutely horrific, and worst segment of the night. I mean, beyond pointless, beyond unnecessary, beyond unacceptable, beyond inexcusable, beyond irresponsible, and beyond borderline reprehensible. I mean, what was the point of this? I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. I love Jerry Springer, but no, I'm sorry. I literally can't accept this. And yeah, I mean, during all this, I mean, they show the vignette, and then they bring out the brother JJ. I mean, that really made this whole thing even worse. I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, this is. I mean, thank goodness. I mean, when I heard that this segment was coming up, I was like, this has probably got train wreck and disaster written all over it. And I immediately switched it to Monday Night Football because I didn't give two craps about this segment. And whoever the maroon or the jackass that came up with this idea, well, he should be a darn ashamed of himself. And I would have pulled the Vince McMahon and I would have fired his ass immediately. And, I mean, yeah, because, I mean, a segment like this should not belong on a Monday Night Raw. I mean, it's a good, yeah, thumbs down for that. Yeah, and to me, any other, any other maroon who would come up with this, you know what? They should be fired too. I mean, absolutely. And I have zero tolerance on this. Wario has zero tolerance on it. And if I know Derek Ferreira, if he were here, he would have zero tolerance on it. And for the second time tonight, I will say it, and Wario, please join me in doing this. No, 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 no. Even though Nikki Bella probably wouldn't like what we're doing right now, so, yeah. Who cares, Nikki? So, Fletcher is yours. I don't know what else there is to say on this nonsense.
There's really nothing else to say. You guys pretty much summed it up. It was a horrific scene. It was a horrific sight. Bad writing, bad everything about the WWE. That's just one of those where you just does not like the segment. No doubt about it. You have every right to gripe about the segment because it was horrible. And I just don't understand why WWE would actually let this happen. And the thing is that I get it. They're trying to make an effort because, this was not the original game plan. The original game plan was they were hoping that they would have gotten Michael Sam to show up on Monday Night Raw so that, he could have voiced whatever he wanted to voice about, the future of the WWE, or I should say the future of trying to get into the NFL and, the whole nine yards. The next thing you know, he signs a contract with the Dallas Cowboys that pretty much takes him out of play. So they had to find something last minute. So what do? By bringing in the legendary Jerry Springer, just to, give us a classic moment and something like that. And come on, the WWE fans are not stupid. We're not stupid. We're not falling for it. And that's why we panded this segment. And we're not gonna, and we just won't stand for it whatsoever. So, with that said, there's really nothing else to add on. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, and the sooner we can move on from that horrific segment, the better. And that's exactly what we're going to do. But unfortunately, you thought that was bad. Unfortunately, it gets worse. As we move on to a tag team match, it was the Dust Brothers, Goldust and Stardust, going up against Los Matadores. Yes. Winners of the match in 2 minutes and 11 seconds. It was the Dust Brothers. Oh, Michael Bullock, I'm so sorry, man. You're going to have to lead up on this one. I don't envy you.
No, 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 no. Absolute dud. And I mean, this was another one of the worst fights of the night. And I mean, and the point of this match was what exactly? Uh, I mean, no point in this whatsoever. I mean, this is like the third or fourth meeting between these two teams, and I mean, it's beginning to be beyond the point of go away when it comes to this. So, you know what? I'm not even gonna waste any more time on this crap fest. So, dud, 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 Fletcher, go.
Yeah, too short for my liking. It really didn't thrill me at all. I can also yell out dud. There's really nothing more to say about it. Anthony, go.
All right, sorry about that. I just had to take care of a little something on the side there, but yeah, absolute dud. This was another one of the worst fights of the night. I mean, 2 minutes and 11 seconds. I mean, I think the only and well, Bullock was wondering what the point of it was. I think it was just to get the Dust Brothers over because they are going to be challenging the Usos for the WWE Tag Team Championship at Night of Champions. They obviously want to give them some momentum going in. I guess I can understand that, but yeah, not the way to do it against the worst tag team in WWE today. Well, second worst, only behind the Slater Gator. I mean that's far and away worse. But yeah, absolute dud. Another one of the worst fights of the night. So nothing really left to say here except let's just move on, and move on we will. And unfortunately, you thought that was bad. It's going to get even worse. It's Adam Rose versus Titus O'Neil. Adam Rose, the winner of the match in 1 minute and 20 seconds. So I think it's only fitting that we lead off with our resident Rosebud, Michael Fletcher. So go ahead, Rosebud. It's all yours.
Normally, I would go Rosebud and everything else. Tonight, I gotta be a lemon. This was horrible. This was a disaster. And this was, I mean, there's really nothing more to say. But I will say this. The bunny basically became the star of the show. For some odd reason, the bunny basically hits a super kick, which looked fairly similar to some WWE Hall of Famer. I don't know, somebody named the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, anybody? Then, on top of that, the next thing you know, the bunny climbs up and, well, drops a big splash on it does a big splash. So as much as I'm about to say this, I think the bunny is about to get some exposure in WWE. I mean, first you get Cheeseburger getting a whole bunch of exposure on the NXT, and yes, that's one of Adam Rose's rosebuds. I watched the show, so I know it, and I'll tell you one thing. He is just as cool and just as crazy as Adam Rose. Here's the thing, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I think Adam Rose was actually over with the fans in Baltimore. So I mean, as much as it might say whatever you want to say. Yes, it was a dud. Yes, it was pointless, and yeah, it's like what are you doing? But here's WWE trying to make an attempt to try to get Adam Rose some exposure and whatnot. But I'll tell you one thing. He might not be over with the WWE fans, but if you go on NXT, this guy is a megastar on NXT. That's all I'm going to say about it. Anthony, it's yours.
All right. Nothing left to say here except I'm going to be the lemon like I always am on this one. Absolute dud. This was the worst fight of the night, far and away. I mean, go away already. I mean, at the point to go away. The bunny stuff. I mean, don't even get me started on that. I mean, that stuff's not funny at all. And I'll say it like this. I mean, I don't know what's worse. I mean, what I think they should do is just get these two guys, along with Summer Rae and Layla, and along with Hornswoggle and El Torito, and then they can have a campy comedy stable. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. So, absolute worst fight of the night, pointless, unnecessary, blah, 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 blah. You know the routine, and yeah, I mean, I don't know what else there is to say here, except I'm just going to throw it to my fellow lemon, Michael Bullock. So, let's let that lemon go for it, lemon. What do you say on this one?
Yeah, dud, worst fight of the night. I'm not even going to get into any further details on this Adam Rose nonsense, so I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm finished with this. Gloria, let's move on.
Yeah, we're gonna move on, and finally, folks, we're gonna stop the pain, and we're gonna stop it in a very good way. Our main event of the evening, it was the Viper, Randy Orton, one-on-one with Roman Reigns, winner of the match via disqualification in 20 minutes and 12 seconds. It was Roman Reigns. I mean, I'll say it like this. I mean, this is a tough one to call. I mean, because I thought this match and the Jericho Bray Wyatt fights were both amazing. I mean, I'm you know what? I'm just gonna make a correction here. I'm actually gonna, by a slim margin, I'm gonna give this the fight of the night. To be quite honest with you, just by a smidge. I mean, the Wyatt Jericho cage match was great, but to me, I mean, this match was really good, even with the clunky finish. I'm going to give this between 3.5 to 3 3/4 stars. I mean, it was another very good match between these two. I mean, the match at SummerSlam was amazing. This one was I mean, it was also very good. But the thing is, there was a clunky finish, but we got a nice little angle at the end of that. I mean, they brought down the steel cage. They brought the cage into play. How freaking cool was that? And then, all this craziness ensued, and the authority gets involved, and they have all these, technicians coming down, obviously trying to get the cage in place. But yeah, I think it's obviously setting up a program with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. I'm thinking maybe at the Night of Champions we're going to see these two go one-on-one, perhaps. I mean, that's just my assumption on that. But yeah, I mean, this was a very good match. I mean, some great action, some great near falls, and after all those horrific segments, I mean, they needed something to save their ass, and lo and behold, this was it. This saved their ass literally tonight. I got to be honest with you. So, yeah, 3.5 to 3 3/4 stars. I was gonna give it 4, but because of that clunky finish, I gotta take it down a bit. But I'm still gonna call this the fight of the night. 3.5 to 3 3/4 stars. The Jericho Wyatt cage match was the second best fight of the night. I should have made a note of that earlier, but anyways, that's how I feel about it. So Rollins and Reigns, you gotta believe they're gonna do that at Night of Champions. I mean, it's pretty much a given now. So yeah, so very, very good match. So I don't know if I still think the SummerSlam match was just a smidge better, but this one here was just as good, even with the clunky finish. So 3.5 to 3 3/4 stars. Fight of the night for me, even with the bad finish. So with that said, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on the main event?
What was your rating for the match?
3.5 to 3 3/4.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 3.5 stars as well, but I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna make a correction by a slim margin. This was the fight of the night. I'm gonna have to move the Jericho Bray Wyatt match as the second best fight of the night. I mean, what a match! Yeah, we did have a overbooked, clunky, but you know what? I like what. Excuse me. Yeah. Yeah, of course, afterwards we get the Seth Rollins and Kane coming out, and you see the stagehands basically coming out, and I'm like, what the heck's going on here? And then you see the cage going on, I'm like, oh no, this is not going to be good for Roman Reigns. But basically he gets Rollins and Kane out, and looks like it was just going to be Orton and Reigns in the cage. But then once the steel chair comes into play, it looks like he's going to back off Kane, and then all of a sudden Seth Rollins comes out of nowhere, hits the crossbody Blanca right onto him, and yeah, it basically goes downhill for Roman Reigns, and he gets hit so many times with that steel chair, and then of course Seth Rollins with the curb stomp on the steel chair. And you can even hear Seth Rollins scream to him, saying that, hey, I'm the one who made you. I'm the one who created the Shield. And I'll tell you what, I mean, many people say that maybe he now is putting away Roman Reigns. I mean, first Dean Ambrose, now Roman Reigns, and he's the lone man left standing. So, yeah, I mean, at some point we're gonna get a match between Rollins and Reigns. When's it gonna happen? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So, 3.5 stars, fight of the night, and so with that being said, Fletcher, your thoughts?
I gotta go 3 3/4. I'm still gonna call it the second best fight of the night. I definitely liked, everything that went down in the match, and it was good for what it was worth. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I loved the body of work of everybody that was in it. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the night, I think it was really gonna be a good brawl that they had, but the Authority gets the advantage, and they end up standing tall at the end of the night even though it looked like it was almost going to be Holy Backfire Batman, with everything they were setting it up. But look what happened. They got to Roman Reigns and they laid him out. So now, this actually does open the window for Seth Rollins to actually get the game plan and do the unimaginable. And they were saying that they want him to be, maybe the Authorities, this is their way of eliminating the two major threats so that he can cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase and try to win the belt. So I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see what happens, but it is what it is. It was solid for the most part. So with that said, Anthony, it's yours.
All right. So with that said, it's now time for our overall review of Monday Night Raw for the season premiere tonight. So with that said, Michael Bullock, your first up, your overall rating on tonight's show and why?
Actually, can you have Fletcher go first?
Yeah, that's not a problem. Michael Fletcher, if you're ready, maybe we can get your overall thoughts first.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. I mean, yeah. Okay. I will say this. The last two Monday Night Raws have been absolutely garbage. No doubt about it. Tonight, they kind of went a little better. Not much. I mean, it was more of an uptick, not a downtick. You could say this is practically a 50-50 show. So I'm going to give it 5 to 5.5 out of 10 is my rating. I thought it was okay in certain areas. Not everything was the greatest thing ever. So with that said, 5 to 5.5. Anthony, I give it to you.
All right. Moving on to me now. I'm going to go a little bit better here. I'm going to say it was 5.5 to 6 out of 10, if I'm being quite honest. I mean, because you had 4 quality matches on the show tonight. You had Randy Orton and Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt and Chris Jericho. I mean, those were the 2 matches that were getting the most hype, and rightly so, and they both delivered in one way or another. And then you had a solid match with Sheamus and Seth Rollins, and then throw in that NXT Tag Team match. I mean, which I thought was, a solid match. So, 4 quality matches there. And then you also had that great segment with Paul Heyman and John Cena. That was well done. And really the only good, promo segment of the night. And I'm actually going to bump it up to 6 out of 10. I mean, I know I'm probably being a little bit generous on this, but it's because of that body of work. And I'm also going to give them a bonus point because of the fact that they actually started the show off with a match. We should have mentioned that. They started it off with a match and not elongated Authority promo or a John Cena promo like they always do every week. So I got to give them at least some credit for that. So I'm gonna give this a solid 6 out of 10. I mean, those 4 quality matches, the Heyman Cena segment, that was freaking awesome. But once again, the filler, the dud enhancement fights, they ruled the roost. What else is new? I mean, yeah, all those garbage matches. I mean, oh boy, Adam Rose and Titus O'Neil, worst fight of the night. Throwing that nonsense with the Dust Brothers and Los Matadores, that was bad. That Diva tag match, that was horrific. But really, the 2 lowest points of the night, the Dolph Ziggler and Miz segment, and then of course, taking the cake as the lowest point of the night, and definitely the worst segment far and away of the year, the Bella's intervention with Jerry Springer, beyond unnecessary and pointless and all that nonsense. So, yeah, but because of those 4 quality matches and the Heyman Cena segment and the fact that they led off with a match and not elongated, predictable Authority promo like they always do, for the last 11 billion weeks, I'm going to be generous here and I'm going to give them a solid 6 out of 10. A little better than last week, but not a whole lot. The last two Raws have been absolute crap. Michael Fletcher, you're absolutely right on that. I'll give you credit for that. Last time I checked, you got Monday Night Football now back. I mean, granted, the Giant Lion game was a dud, but next week you got a solid matchup: the Philadelphia Eagles against the Indianapolis Colts. That's going to be a great game. Let me quite honest. Get more into that on Saturday night when we do our NFL Saturday show, which we'll get more into in just a little bit when I set the table for the future content. So 6 out of 10 for me. I'm being generous with this. So with that said, Michael Bullock, do you agree with me? Do you agree with Fletch, or do you have another rating altogether?
I'm sorry, boys, but I'm going to have to disagree with your ratings, and I'm actually going to go lower. I'm going to say 4.5 out of 10, and I hate to say it, but in my honest opinion, this was not a good show. I mean, because yeah, you did have your quality matches, but I mean, yeah, it's a pretty good one with Jericho and Wyatt and Bray Wyatt, and of course Roman Reigns and Randy Orton and that John Cena segment. But the reason why I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 10, like you just mentioned, Florio, the dud enhancement matches and filler segments rule the roost yet again. I mean, when is WWE going to get their heads out of their asses and cut this dud enhancement filler crap? I mean, it's beginning to be beyond pointless, beyond unnecessary, beyond unacceptable, beyond inexcusable, beyond irresponsible, and beyond borderline reprehensible. I mean, come on, WWE. I mean, you're going up against Monday Night Football now for the next 17 weeks, and I mean, you need to basically give fans a reason to want to watch your show. But once again, you gave them a reason not to watch it, and I mean, this is why Derek Pereira has said before that he is pretty much at the point of stop watching Monday Night Raw. And if they continue down the road with this crap, I just might stop watching it myself, and I just might start watching Monday Night Football as well. So WWE, I'm giving you this warning: you need to either shape up or ship out, adapt, or perish. So 4.5 out of 10, a bad show to me, in my opinion. So with that being, Florio, let's wrap it up.
And we're going to wrap it up, indeed. We're going to wrap it up with our shout-outs. We're going to have Michael Fletcher go first, and after you're done, Fletch, I'll throw it up to Michael Bullock, because I want to end it. I want to end it on my own. So let's start off with our shout-outs, Michael Fletcher.
All right, will do. First off, I want to say thank you to all the great fans out there who watches the Wrestling Forum each and every week. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry for the little bit of I don't know what the heck happened earlier in the show. I guess you could say technical difficulties. There was a misfire. Something happened. My audio shut it off, so you guys lost me just briefly. We were able to ride the ship and get it back everything in order. Hats off to the producers of the show. These guys, they definitely know. They definitely bailed me out of the fire this time around, as always. So thank you, as always, you guys. Of course, I want to thank all my great friends in the high school days, junior high, high school days, as always. Our super fans, Matt Ward, Dee Woodson, Jason Hinterberg, Megan Silva, Kaiser Butler, Daniel Luttrell up in the UK, man. I want to give a special shout out to you if you're still up, man. I think it's almost 5 a.m. If he's up there, man, cheers to you, brother. I'll say this. Thank you, as always, to everybody, of course. And that's it. So until Friday night, when we do a new episode of Strictly Sports Presents College Football Friday, Mike Fletcher, you know the routine, everybody. Other hand pounds, we out. Bullock, it's yours.
Michael Bullock, your shout-outs.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry about that. Shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to support our shows, whether it is the Wrestling Forum or Strictly Sports, whether it's football, College Football Friday, or NFL Saturday. So it doesn't matter. We really appreciate it, and we thank you all so very much for listening to us here on another night of the Wrestling Forum here. So, yeah, so shout outs to our super fans, Dee Dee Woodson, Kevin, Matt Ward, and Jason Hicksonball. Shout outs to our friends from our high school days, Al Britterson, Rob Parsons, Eric Carrier, Tom Souza, and of course to the first, and of course to the first lady of the Wrestling Forum, Megan Silva, and to the first lady of Strictly Sports, Kaiser Butler, and of course also a shout out to the Grand Poobah himself, Mr. Derek Ferreira, who, like you said, couldn't join us tonight because he is the social media ambassador for Monday Night Football. So yeah, he'll definitely be back with us Friday night. So yeah, so that's pretty much going to do it for me. So until Friday night for Strictly Sports presents College Football Friday, this is the Phenom and the Vice President of the Rhode Island chapter of the Yes Movement saying thank you all so much for listening to us tonight. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it a Fortune 4 style. Have a great rest of the week, everybody. Until Friday night, bye for now, my friends. So with that being said, Wario, take us home and set the table.
Will do indeed, Michael Bullock. Will do. So, of course, we want to thank you all so very much for tuning in tonight to this edition of the Wrestling Forum. Of course, a special shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make the Wrestling Forum, as well as our 2 football shows of Strictly Sports, whether it's College Football Friday or NFL Saturday. We appreciate it as always. You are the best fans in the world. Enough said on that. So with that said, shout out to all of our tremendous fans out there. Of course, our super fans, Dee Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson and the family, Matt Ward, Jason Hicksonball, Daniel Luttrell from the UK. Check out his reviews. He's got another short film out, so you definitely want to check that out. Of course, our friends from our high school days, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, who's probably back from Miami now. He went on that trip to Miami yesterday to see the Dolphins in action, and I know he left there with a big smile on his face because of that big win yesterday. So, which I'm sure we'll get into on Saturday night. More on that in a moment. Of course, Eric Carrier, Tommy Souza, Jimmy Alden, Rob Parsons, Al Bradison, they know who they are. Of course, Kaiser Butler and Megan Silva as well, our first ladies of Strictly Sports and the Wrestling Forum, respectively. So, of course, I'm going to save the rest of my shout-outs for Saturday night, so because that's how we do it now. So that's going to do it for that. So Wrestling Forum for September 8th, 2014 is now in the books. So before we wrap it up, I just want to set the table for future content real quick before we wrap it up. Of course, I do have one more shout out I forgot to mention. Of course, the Grand Poobah himself, indeed. I want to send my special shout out to Derek Ferreira as well. Always appreciate it when he gives me the keys to the car. As you know, I guess you could call me, I guess you could say, quote unquote, the heir apparent to the throne. So all I can say about that is I appreciate it as always, my man. And it's not the same without you, but at least we'll have you next week because it is the go home show for Night of Champions, and because that's how Derek's decree is now. During football season, he'll be joining us. Oh, yes, and of course, a special shout out indeed to the friends and family of the late Joan Rivers. Of course, WWE did a fantastic tribute video to her tonight. For those of you who didn't know, Hulk Hogan was a guest when she was guest hosting the Tonight Show for Johnny Carson. She, had Hulk Hogan on, and Hulk Hogan and her had a funny little moment on that. If you didn't see it during the tribute. Of course, I best remember Joan Rivers, of course, for being the guest ring announcer for the Mr. T and Roddy Piper boxing match at WrestleMania 2. I mean, I definitely remember that very well. So, and you can relive that yourself, on the WWE Network, WrestleMania 2. Those of you who want to check that out. So, yeah. So shout out indeed to to her daughter Melissa and the rest of the family and all her friends. So, yeah, she will be missed. No question about that. So, all right. So, and Derek Ferreira, indeed, I was going to mention that Derek Ferreira. Wasn't with us tonight, social media ambassador for Monday Night Football, but he'll be with us, next week and the week after, because, like I said, he'll only be joining us for go-home shows and the night after the pay-per-views. So that's going to do it for us, though. Of course, Friday night, around 10 or 10:30, we got week 3 of Strictly Sports Presents College Football Friday. We'll run down all the top 25 matchups of week 3 in college football. Not as many as last week. There's only 16 of them this time around. And, of course, as well, and in addition to that, we'll, of course, have our power rankings. And let me just say it like this. Major shakeups in the power rankings for college football come Friday night for College Football Friday. And then, of course, Saturday night, of course, we have Strictly Sports NFL Saturday, week 2 of that. We'll run down the games of week 2, with the exception of the Thursday night game of the Steelers and the Ravens. We're going to run down the rest of the card for week 2. And, of course, our first NFL Power Rankings. Those should be very interesting, to say the very least. And since I'm going to be running that show, fellas, I'm just going to say it like this. When it comes to the Power Rankings, I think we should do it by, who had the most impressive victories in week 1. That should be our top 10. Who had the most impressive wins. So I'm sure you guys won't mind doing that. So, because that's personally how I think, the first Power Ranking should go, and then we'll go from there. So, all right. So College Football Friday night, 10 or 10:30, and then 10 or 10:30 Saturday night, we got Strictly Sports NFL Saturday. So, all right, that's going to do it for us. So until Friday night for Strictly Sports College Football Friday, this is Ridiculously Over Anthony Florio for the Cerebral Viper Michael Fletcher and the Phenom Michael Bullock, and of course, in spirit, our social media ambassador for Monday Night Football, Derek Forever, the Hardcore Pipe Bomb. Ridiculously Over Anthony Florio saying, the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up 14-4 style. Have a great rest of the week, everybody. And until Friday night for College Football Friday, Strictly Sports, you've been watching the Wrestling Forum right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other and enjoy the